Everybody's talking about Alex Pereira's power, but there is one major factor that almost nobody is talking about, and it could absolutely change the outcome of UFC White House. It's your boy, We Fight All Night, and we are back with another episode of the MMA and Boxing Show. And today we will be bringing you our predictions of Alex Pereira versus Ciryl Gane, going down at what should be one of the most biggest combat sports cards ever put on, and that is the UFC White House. All right, so first, let's get to Ciryl Gane. So Ciryl Gane coming in at 13 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, and both of those losses were to extraordinary talent, who was John Jones and Francis Ngannou. And then his draw actually came against Tom Aspinall. So we'll get back to that in just a second. But aside from all of that, when Ciryl Gane is clicking on all cylinders, he is arguably one of the most technical strikers in MMA's heavyweight division, period. And to be quite honest, he moves more like a middleweight or even a light heavyweight than a heavyweight, than a full-fledged 265-pound fighter. Ciryl Gane is super light on his feet, reminiscent of the movement of Tom Aspinall, but Ciryl Gane may even have better movement than Tom Aspinall, and we did see it in that first few minutes of the fight. Yeah, we'll get into that a little bit later as well. Yeah, Ciryl Gane is definitely one of those freak athletes, and he's also a decorated kickboxer with an undefeated record as well. Now, with all of that being said, we have seen Ciryl Gane in some trouble. If we go back to the Tuivasa fight, if we recall in the post-fight speech, Ciryl Gane admitted to never being hit as hard as he was against Tuivasa, and Tuivasa came very close to finishing Ciryl Gane. It just makes me think, especially with the skid, and no hate on Tuivasa, nothing against Tuivasa, but it makes me think with the skid that Tuivasa has been on. I mean, if he gets in there with a killer like Alex Pereira, who's actually gonna technically put some strikes together, and might even at the heavyweight level, I mean, he was putting people to sleep before heavyweight with one punch. I mean, just imagine how strong Alex Pereira's left hook, or even his kicks, or whatever he wants to throw at you, is going to feel at the heavyweight limit. I just get very wary when thinking of this fight. When I look back at how Tuivasa almost finished Ciryl Gane, I do not think there will be an almost with Alex Pereira. I think if Alex Pereira lands clean on Ciryl Gane, it could be good night, Irene. Now, one thing that we do have to keep note of is that Ciryl Gane did go all 5 rounds against Francis Ngannou, who was arguably one of the most devastating knockout artists in all of MMA. Now, Francis Ngannou was nowhere near as technical as Alex Pereira, and his stand-up skills are nowhere near the realm of an Alex Pereira. But power for power, these guys may be 1 and 2, A and B. I mean, you guys have seen the punch machine videos. If you haven't, go back and check out my punch machine videos. We talk all about that, but definitely These guys have one punch knockout power that can put almost any human being on this planet to sleep. But against Francis Ngannou, he was definitely able to show off his movement for the first half of the fight. But that gets me to my next point. Francis Ngannou was actually able to turn into what we would like to call an elite wrestler. Like he just learned elite wrestling out of nowhere and secured the win against Ciryl Gane. So with all of that being said, Ciryl Gane is on his 5th title shot. So his record at the moment is 1-4. Well, 1-3 in title competition. So it also gets a little shaky. I don't know if you guys want to go ahead and count interim title shots or interim belts as title shots or title defenses. But if we are counting it, this will be his 5th title shot, and he is 1-3 in title competition, which makes me think, does Ciryl Gane have an issue rising to the occasion? Does Ciryl Gane have an issue performing under the bright lights? We all know Alex Pereira doesn't. So a path to victory for Ciryl Gane would definitely be to fight Alex Pereira on the outside. Try to get Alex Pereira into deep waters and into the later rounds, being that this will be the first time that Alex Pereira is holding all of this weight. So you could possibly bank on the fact that he might gas out. But then again, Alex Pereira does not waste movements at all. He's looking for one shot, or he's looking to set you up to land the one shot later. So you may have to maybe wrestle him up against the ropes. I don't know if you, like Francis Ngannou did, went and learned some wrestling as well, but it seems like this is the way to stop Alex Pereira. I don't think any fighter in the UFC can stand with this guy. I know he did get knocked out by Ciryl Adesanya, but hey, that's Ciryl Adesanya, and that's a legendary rivalry right there. I don't see it happening again, especially while Alex Pereira is not weight drained. You know, that knockout did happen all the way down at 185 pounds, but I do not imagine, he'll go through those same issues of being weight drained at the heavyweight limit. Now, let's talk about Alex Pereira, who, in my opinion, is the most devastating striker the UFC has ever seen. Alex Pereira has already accumulated multiple knockouts across multiple divisions: 185 pounds, 205 pounds, and he is going for the 265-pound heavyweight division. This is ridiculous and has never been done in the UFC before. If you don't follow the sport that much, I'm letting you guys know history is about to be made. And let me tell you one more thing about Pereira. Not only does he have a legendary left hook, I honestly believe Alex Pereira has the best left hook in all of combat sports all time. I think he has an all-time great left hook. And that's saying a lot across boxing, UFC, kickboxing, whatever you want to say, whatever. Alex Pereira's left hook is second to none. But to be quite honest, what makes Alex Pereira scary, it's not really his power. It's his timing and his precision. This guy is a assassin, and most guys don't even realize they're in danger until they are falling on the floor. And no matter if Alex Pereira is coming up from 205 pounds and moving up to the heavyweight division, I still think this fight favors Alex Pereira much more than Ciryl Gane. Yeah, Ciryl Gane may start off chopping at the legs, dancing around the ring. He may even do that for a round or two, but eventually he is going to have to stand in front of Alex Pereira and answer questions that everybody wants to know. Can Ciryl Gane rise to the occasion? Can Ciryl Gane perform under the lights? Can Ciryl Gane finally put it together to win a title in the UFC? Because all it takes is one lazy leg kick, one lazy jab, one lazy entry. You weave when you should have dipped. You dipped when you should have swayed. And that left hook is going to find you. Alex Pereira in 4. Alex Pereira is already a superstar, but I'm telling you guys, if he goes ahead and knocks Ciryl Gane out on the White House lawn, we will be looking at a whole nother monster in Alex Pereira. I guarantee you. Now, if Ciryl Gane shocks the world and goes ahead and beats Alex Pereira, oh my goodness. I mean, either way, whoever wins this fight, the heavyweight division is in a great position, and Tom Aspinall better get his eyes ready. Tom Aspinall better be ready. You better not come into this fight fat, how you came against Ciryl Gane. You look so out of shape, and Ciryl Gane was tagging you. Tom Aspinall better get ready, because this ain't boxing. Interim champs fight the champs next, no matter what. All right, now it's time to place a bet. It is time to place a bet. It is time to place a bet. Now, I would usually have a lot more props, a lot more things to add to your parlay for you guys, a lot more things to choose from on these fights here, but I genuinely think that this fight will go over 2.5 rounds, and at this current moment, you could snag that at anywhere from around minus 150 to minus 175, which is really good. You could, parlay that up with some other things. I will also be dropping my full parlay video, so definitely make sure you look out for that. And this has been another episode of the MMA and Boxing Show, and I'm gonna keep flooding the YouTube streets with all of this MMA and boxing knowledge, man. So you better tap in. You better tell a friend to 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 tell his mama to tap in, cause we outside, baby. It's We Fight All Night. Until next time, folks.